And that's how you preheat a surface for paint prep. Got a little sizzle to it. All right, let's go get the paint. Little Rust-Oleum. Wow, we had enough heat to get the lighter rocking. Impressive. You don't need to worry about boiling your paint. That's a myth. See, it just goes right on. And even insta-cures. Rust-Oleum, good stuff. Yeah, we just paint right over that sticker. Just act like it ain't even there. Very nice. Good day, ladies and gents. The final push to get this engine back together for our Project Dopey Dope is upon us. We have the final few parts here. We've got the heads over there. We got the oil pan there. If you're familiar with the project, you know what's got us here. You know, the madman behind the laptop blew up the engine. So I've built a new one. I refreshed some of the older parts. I spent the past day cleaning up stuff like the timing cover and, you know, getting the harmonic balancer ready, getting sensors ready, laying out my gaskets, painting, just maintenance, just cleaning, getting everything ready to do final assembly on this engine. And if you're not real familiar with what's going on, I've got a bunch of videos in this playlist that cover the entire project. So if you need to get caught up, I suggest you hop backwards, view some of those videos, and get caught up back to where we are now, because there's too much to cover. If I tried to recap it all, it'd be an hour-long video, which it probably is anyway, but it'd be just an hour long of me just rambling on about what's already happened. And we ain't worried about that right now. Right now, what's important is moving forward. Now, we still have a few things drying, like the oil pan. It's not cured. We got our spouts hanging up here for our water pump, or thermostat housing one, and then our outlet going to the radiator. Those are still curing. They need a little bit more time to set up. I still haven't cleaned up the rear main plate, but the rear main plate's the last thing I'm going to do. It'll be going on once we actually have the engine in the air and it's going in the truck. So I got some time before I have to worry about that. But our oil pickup tube, it's cleaned up, it's polished, it's ready to go. All our heads are assembled, ready to go. We got new valve springs, we got new injector cups. They have been thoroughly cleaned. Like, you know, all the oil and fuel passages have just been, you know, gallons and gallons. Well, I mean, they were hand scrubbed with, you know, soapy water and brushes, and then just had copious amounts of brake cleaner ran through them. So the heads are ready to go. And then I spent a full day just scrubbing on this timing cover. It probably, with time and, you know, materials invested, it might have just been cheaper just to buy a new one, because, man, I wasted a lot of time cleaning that. Didn't even need to, probably. But, you know, I don't know. I got OCD or something. I don't know. There's something wrong with me. I wanted it clean. So I just got in there and cleaned it. And I already took time to go through all of our gaskets to make sure that we actually have all the right ones, and they're here. And I've been sorting through hardware, trying to pick out the best hardware that I've got, so we can really put something nice together here. And hopefully, just with any luck, maybe, how many of my fingers can I cross here? Get up here. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, just come on, get over here. Anyway, something like that. Cross all my fingers, my toes are crossed too. Trust me, just believe me, they're done. I'm telling you, they're crossed. But hopefully it goes together and we ain't got to worry about it again. The truck will just, you know, go live a long life somewhere other than here. Everything is checked out and looks good so far. And now I don't I don't know if this is something that everyone will run into or if it's just a me thing. Because like our new front seal here, it comes with a wear sleeve, as most, aftermarket rear mains and stuff do for, these trucks. The front seal actually comes, with a wear sleeve. And now I was going through my harmonic balancers. I was going to put the one on the low which this is the low mileage one. This is the one that come off of the engine that we blew up. And it had a wear sleeve on it, which I'd already assumed that at some point somebody had been into the front of that engine, because these orange seals are these are the replacement gaskets, the replacement seals for these oil pumps. The factory ones have a black gasket in them. And our engine that was originally in the truck, the one that this oil pump and this timing cover come off of, had an orange seal in it. So somebody had been into the front before. Now I don't know if they put a new oil pump on it or if they were just replacing that seal because it was leaking. Hard to say. Wasn't there. But like I said, this one had a wear sleeve on it. And I got to looking at all the other harmonic balancers I have, and they all had wear sleeves on them. So I was like, okay. So either it's a factory thing and all of these will have that wear sleeve on it, which kind of makes sense. Because it'll prevent the wear from happening on this face right here. And then anytime you get in there or you need to put a new seal on it or something, you just pop on a new wear sleeve and just go on about your business. And the only reason I bring it up is because, like I said, I don't know if it is a factory thing or if someone has just for certain been into every one of these engines, which that's very likely too. I mean, they're all high mileage engines. And like I said, for this timing cover and this oil pump, I'm almost certain that someone had been into it before because it had an aftermarket gasket on it. And I just want to take a quick moment to maybe help some of y'all out or help someone out if they come across this and say they have a new wear sleeve and then their old wear sleeve is looking really rough. Like this one here, it's got some rust, it's got some not goodness, and then it's got a nice little groove wore in it. So it would not have been ideal to leave this on there and put the new gasket on it, because it probably would have just ate out the new seal. Like the new seal would have never seated to that one. And then all of our other ones were even worse shaped than this one. So it's almost imperative that we get that off and put the new one on it. And if you look at this one, you can tell where I was hitting around the top of it, because I was trying to do like the method that you use with rear main ones, like the wear sleeves that you put on the back of the crank, the rear main wear sleeves. Whenever you want to get them off, it's really simple. You just take a chisel and you just hit it like 5 or 6 times around the circumference of it. And you're not trying to actually cut the wear sleeve. You're just trying to get a full groove in it. You're just, like I said, you're just hitting it 5 or 6 different places. And what you're doing is actually physically stretching it. And by the time you hit it, like I said, 5 or 6 times, it'll pretty much fall off. I mean, you just reach over and just pull it right off because it has stretched it so much. And that's what I was trying to attempt to do with this one. I was trying to maybe stretch it, but it just wasn't working because of how that sits down in there. You can't really get your chisel in there to actually get a nice hit on the entire surface. So in the case of this wear sleeve, I got lucky. Well, I can't even really say I got lucky. Just in the case of this wear sleeve, I don't know if all of them are same, from all the manufacturers, but this one's made out of a really soft material. It's not actually a hardened steel sleeve. And since it's softer, if you got a chisel, well, you can hack your way right through it, no problem. And that's what I want to show y'all here today, is how I went about getting that off. So in case, like I said, you find yourself in this situation where you have an old wear sleeve on the harmonic balancer and you want to get it off, but you're not exactly sure how to go about it. So let's dive into that right now. I'm struggling, man. Woo! And it's pretty simple, if we're being honest. Like, the only thing you need is a hammer and a chisel. It ain't even got to be a big chisel. Now this in here, I kind of put my own little grind on it. You know, I got an angled edge, and then back here on this end here, what would be the long point, I kind of laid it over just a little bit. So that way, whenever you come down like this, that edge right there, like this chisel isn't going to be trying to bite in to the harmonic balancer and then cutting a groove in it. Which in our case, even if it does scratch it, it's not going to be a huge problem, because some of that retainer bond that I got for the injector cups, you know, that retaining compound, I'm going to actually put on here to make sure that it seals and our new wear sleeve doesn't leak at all. That's my plan anyway. We'll see if it works. But yeah, like I said, all you need is a chisel and a hammer. Now, like I said, I like this grind here. I have found that the way that I have this tip sharpened works great. And then also something else that I've noticed that all these harmonic balancers have in common is the keyway. The keyway has been siliconed on all of them. So if you're putting a new harmonic balancer or rebuilding a 7.3 like we are here, something that you need to remember to do yourself is this keyway here. Make sure you put silicone in it, and probably put some silicone up on the key itself to seal it so you don't have oil leaking past it. Because all this does go right into the front timing cover, and then like this isn't like, this here doesn't seal up against anything like you see in a lot of other engines. Like there's a lot of your engines, whenever the harmonic balancer goes in, this is the only place you have to worry about it sealing, because this right here usually clamps up against something. But on these it don't. That, or it'll be a taper fit, and when it's a taper fit, not usually going to leak. Sometimes it does, but not usually. And then I just have the drill and brushes here, because the other harmonic balancer, I was cleaning up the rust here, and then I was cleaning out the bore. That one's got a little magnetic to it. But anyway, I was cleaning out the bore, and then once I got off the collar, I used the little brushes to clean them up. Just so that way it's clean, and I got a good surface to work with for whenever I put the other sleeve on, and whenever I go to, you know, actually try and seal it. So anyway, enough rambling. Let's see if I can get this one off without mangling it. The other one came off pretty smooth. I didn't have to fight it. Everything worked out great. So we'll see how bad I messed this one up. All right. Oh yeah, super soft. Yowzer. All right, now see, this is where, once I get a little V in it, I like to come in at an angle like this, and then you can start prying back. You can start getting it pried back off of the surface here. Oh yeah, beautiful thing. Now your chisel is far harder than what the harmonic balancer is made out of, so you will start kind of nicking up the top edge right here, but if it's just that top edge, it's not the end of the world. Perfect. Yep, eating right through it. Now you get it laid back a little bit more. just like that, you have cut through it. And then let me get my little buffer. Where's it at here? Because there is some metal transfer whenever you're doing this. Because like I said, these here are really soft. And from the amount of oil that's underneath this might have been seeping oil underneath of that. Anyway, as you can see, it's still a nice, flat, true surface there. And whenever you put on your next one, it should seal, especially if you put some retaining compound on, which we're gonna do on ours. All right, so we're gonna pop our little wear sleeve out of our seal, and I need to get some retaining compound. All right, now I'm gonna take some of this retaining compound and I'm just going to put just a little bit on the inside of it. Nice little bead all the way around. It doesn't take much of this stuff. And now, let's see if we can get, and you know what? I'm gonna put some on this bottom side too. Just cause. If it can hold in injector cups, it can do this job too. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna use this to try and get it straight anyway. Now, that should have it at least straight. Now, I don't have a socket or anything big enough to go over that. Let's see here. What's out of that? Oh. The universe provides. The oil pump, I believe, is going to be the perfect device. Well, the oil pump housing, anyway. I think might be the perfect device for driving that on. But I'm not going to use that oil pump housing. We'll use one of our other ones. Let's go up here to a little bit more solid table. Now, just so we're clear, I'm not 100% sure that this is going to work. Oh Lord, let's get some more of that out of there. Whee! Now, like I said, I'm not 100% sure that this is going to work. But if it does, we all look like geniuses. No, we don't. I don't know if this technique is going to work or not. And as soft as that is, I don't think I could get one of my punches and try and slowly drive it on because it's just so soft. Well, I do believe it's going down. It's just not going down quick. Yeah, it's definitely going down. Let's kind of use my hand to support the housing and then, you know, let the punch do its job. And sometimes I miss and almost smash my finger and cry like a little girl. Well, it's actually working pretty well. And I'm not doing any damage to my wear sleeve or my housing, which we're not going to use this housing, so it doesn't matter. Well, okay, that worked way better than I thought it would have. Like, way better than I thought it would have. All right, so if you have, you know, just a random oil pump housing laying around, or, you know, I mean, if you have your factory one and you have, you know, brass to beat on it with, and you're not worried about it warping the housing, which I don't think it did, and where we use brass, it obviously didn't scar the steel because it's brass, it's soft. Steel don't care about brass. You know, your oil pump housing is a very, might be a viable way to put it on. I'm not going to recommend not using at least the oil pump that you're putting back on your truck, because, you know, if you are warping this housing in any way, but for what I needed done, a used oil pump housing come in clutch. Yep. And by the time that, once this retaining compound all sets up, the next guy is going to hate me, because this thing is not going to come off. But you know what they say, that's the next guy's problem. And no, I don't have a problem screwing over the next guy, because the previous guy never has a problem screwing me over. I'm just kidding. No, I don't like doing that to people. But I probably will be the next guy, so. But honestly, I mean, with cutting them off, it don't matter how well you have it glued on there. That chisel's going to eat right through it. It don't care about that glue either. Man, that worked a treat. I'm tickled by that. And then, like I said, if any of the scarring, which this in here has even less scarring than the other one. Like, I actually did this one better than I cut off that, you know, other one, which of course that's how it goes, because every time I pick up a camera, I just start fumbling and bumbling and tripping over myself. Got the camera turned off, I get way more done. But, you know, that just is what it is. But let's see, what is it that we want to do now? What can we do that won't bite us? You know, I don't know. I need to get my dowel situation straightened out is what I need to do. Because if you look at this one, the block on that side, the dowel on that side of the block's still in, and the dowel on this side of the plate's still in. And that dowel's out, and that dowel's out. So I need to get either this dowel out, or that one. And I'm going to try and get the one that's out of this plate. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Do I want to use these? Maybe I'll try the block. Oh, yeah, I'll take the one out of the block. It'll pull out. Jesus Lord. How that hasn't fallen out, I don't know. How has that not fallen out? Was the other one still in it? Huh. That literally, I mean, that was literally just floating in there. I don't know how it didn't fall out. Like, I've had this engine hanging, like I pressure washed it, I hand washed it, I did all kinds of stuff. That is amazing. Anyway, gonna go buy some lottery. Just give it a little tap, tap, tap. Wow, that rings. Little tappity tap. Man, that thing has terrible acoustics. Okay, now it's gonna leave that surface a little oiled, and I probably still will, but where this is at, where this is at, and where this is at has to have silicone conconi on it. So there can't be any oil on the surface. So I do need to I need to make sure that some parts of this are oil free. Because right now I have this whole front here just kind of smear coated with oil. Like I just put it on a rag and just kind of, put some on it. So it didn't, surface rust on us. But let's see. From, where does it start? Where? Okay. Yeah, pretty much from like here all the way down has got to be silicone. And then from here, following this around, going right around this way, has to be silicone. And then there's a strip of silicone that runs across here. So, yeah, those are the spots where we can have no oil contamination. Not like there isn't already enough fumes in here. That's that good stuff. Woo! Anywho. I do not promote huffing of brake cleaner. If you do, you will be as dumb as I. Anyway. And then another, well, now I got the top off of it, okay. As long as I have the top off of it, we won't bite ourselves. I just have to remember to put the gear in here before I put the lid on. I probably won't remember to do that. So, here's the wishful thinking. Oh yeah, it's gonna seal up real nice. Real nice like. And even though I spent all this time cleaning this, I'm still gonna, you know, just give it a little wipe down. It don't hurt to be, oh, look at that, wow. No matter how much you clean stuff, it just keeps, you know, not being clean. Did all kinds of stuff to this thing. Parts washer, brake clean. Had it in the sink, giving it a scrub-a-dub-dub. And a little old bathtub. And it's still just, I don't know what to say about it. That should be clean enough to get some of this Mahali GV8. Stuff's got a pretty good smell to it, ain't gonna lie. Do. Just run a nice little bead. Not too fat, not too thin. Aha! Woo! This is stout. Whew! That has got the rotten egg smell hardcore. I'll go ahead and tell you. Like a glove? Alrighty. Man, that stuff's got some pepper in it. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. Woo! You over here? Yeah, just give you a little dip in there. Oh, yeah. Oh man, I got the schmoo on me. Not cool. All right, put just a wee bit more on here. Just make sure. Want to make sure. That's all water pump hardware. That's oil pump hardware. Maybe one of this length. All right, let's see if we can get this up here without losing all of our gaskets and everything. Oh wait, will you go over that bolt? Sweet, it will. Alright, now as long as my gaskets don't fall off. Alright, that dowel pin's in. Oh, that dowel pin went in. And as long as my gasket didn't fall out, we should be really, really good. I don't think our gasket fell out. Sweet! Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, that one should go there. Impact! Tight, but I just need something up there to hold it. See, that's not a water pump. Now for the water pump. Take off that. Put this on. Come on, gasket, it's me. Just your friendly neighborhood guy that, you know, turns things up too far and blows them up and likes turbos that make cool whooshy noises. I like the whooshy noises. But if you make too many whooshy noises, they go boom. gasket positively affixes in here. Well, that took way longer than it should have to get that in there, but it should be positively affixed in there now. Maybe. Let's see. Ah, yes. Water pump bolts. Which ones go where? I have no idea. Looking at this, I think I'm going to put a little bit of silicone on it. It has areas that have no pitting in it, but then where the pitting is at, it might be bad enough that it can leak past our seal. So I'm gonna put some silicone on here to fill in our imperfections. Now I know whenever you're using a rubber gasket, you're not supposed to use silicone, but this is an older piece and it's got really bad pitting in it. And you know, if it does leak, then we'll just be pulling it off and doing this anyway. So might as well nip it in the butt. Some of this pitting is really bad. All right, well, that should catch any leaks. Only one way to find out. Put it together. And now for a crucial step that I almost forgot. Anti-seisms. Always anti-seize your water pump bolts. Especially if it's running or threading through the aluminum. Because you know, you may never take it apart again. Then again, you might. And I don't know how many water pump bolts I've had that actually, they broke on me, but they didn't break because they seized up like in the block. That corroded in here. And then the bolt would like break off like halfway or something because of the corrosion had it so bound up. And that being said, I'm going to take all these back out, and especially the ones that are threading into the aluminum. They're going to be getting, you know, the anti-slickums, or maybe the pro slickums, I guess you'd call it. Yeah, because I mean, you know, we're all about it being slick. All the bolts are in, and copious amounts of anti-seize has been applied. Now we can tighten. That ain't going anywhere. With that much on though, we can flip it over and get on our oil pan. Yes! You know what I just realized? We have to get our rear main plate on, so that way we can do the back seal part. Because I want my oil pan on, like right now. So, yeah. Let's put on the dipstick tube, the picker upper tube. And then we'll get the hoist over here. We'll get the engine picked up so I can unhook it from the engine stand. And we'll get the rear main put on. Sweet! I don't care if it is in a perpetual oil bath. Anytime I have hardware that goes into aluminum, I like to have the anti-stickums on it. All right, let's see if everything lines up here how it's supposed to. Stay on Mr. Gasket. Sweet. And that's supposed to sit there. I guess, yeah, my gasket is still on. Cool. Lines up perfect. Now that nut will torque down at 45 Newton meters. Not really, it's not 45 Newton meters, it's 45 foot-pounds. How much is 45 foot-pounds, you ask? This much. Approximately. Oh yeah. Give it one more. Oh yeah. That ain't going anywhere. Huh. Thong. Huh. Even makes a noise. That ain't going anywhere. Alright, so that's solid mounted. Ain't going anywhere. Put that fancy socket up. Well, you know, I gotta clean up the rear main plate to put it on. But while we're sitting here right now, I can just go ahead and put the oil pump on. I can slather up that surface, put on the oil pump, and then we can stick on the harmonic balancer. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do that, and then we can just have the front end done-ish. 15/16. Papa. Let's get it. I need to take this and make them one. Will this work? It might. Gonna come up here to a solid beating surface. Ah! Baby, come back. I wish I had the one that was that size, because it'd be better. But if you just keep it walking around this edge, it should be just fine. One perfectly installed seal. Now this is a rubber type seal, so I don't think you're supposed to install these dry. I don't think. Now the rear mains are supposed to go on dry. If people aren't aware of that, your rear main seals, how they're made, and a lot of them anymore actually have it like wrote on them, like install dry. But this is a rubber seal. I don't know if this one is supposed to install dry. So then again, it kind of makes sense that it would install dry, because if it had oil film on it, then that oil film would collect dirt. So, you know, to heck with it. We're going to install it dry. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? Probably a lot that could happen, but, you know. All right, so let's see. Let's make sure this thing is still spick and span clean. I do believe it is. All right. Need to give this a wipe down. This ain't had a wipe down in a while. Ew. And these are the gears that come in this housing, even though when you buy replacement parts, it'll just send you new gears. It don't even send you a housing. Like, you can buy just the gears. But anyway, these are the gears that come out of this housing. So these are bedded to this housing. And this is the timing cover that these gears and that housing came from. So all this stuff should already be meshed and intertwined and, you know, just happy little neighbors and liking each other. So the damper, so it goes down because the damper is that way. And this in here is labeled as damper, so it will go down. Because that means that that writing should be facing towards the damper. And I don't think, I don't think it matters anyway. I think as they rotate, the offset anyway. No, well, I'll put it in there with damper, lined up with damper, but I'm almost positive it doesn't matter. And now that it's in there, let's give it some of the good stuff. Oh yeah, get in there. Lube it up. Oh yeah, getting thick. Absolutely do not want your oil pumps to start up dry. That is not good. You want them to be as lubed as you can possibly lube them. Yes, sir. Do not want your oil pumps to start up dry. No way, no how. Probably way more than enough. I'm gonna just slick them up this surface here. Like I said, worst thing you can do to an oil pump is make it start up dry. Especially whenever it's buttoned up against an aluminum plate. I'm really surprised at that. This engine has surprised me in many ways. Beautiful thing it is. All right, yep, okay, lined up. Perfect. Make sure. Oh no. Okay, I'm guessing our O-ring is perfect. Only way to find out. Let's put bolts in it. And don't forget to put the anti-stickums on your oil pump bolts too. Now, remember what we talked about before? And siliconing the keyway? Make sure that the next time I have to take this off, I'm going to cry the entire time. Perfect. Keyway shall be siliconed. Aha. All righty. Yep. Now is the bolt long enough to do it? No. Is it the right way? No. Is it working? Yup. Will the bolt reach now? Oh, it will. All right, now we're gonna put some more silicone, because from the way that the rest of them looked, they had silicone everywhere in here. So we will do the same. At least enough to seal the seam anyway. We have a perfectly sealed surface. And now we're gonna let Daddy drive it home. Well, that's as tight as a Milwaukee will send it, so it's probably good enough. And no, you don't have to replace these damper bolts. You can if you want to, but it's a 10.9 grade fastener. And you know, she just wants to be tight. That's all she wants to be. She's tight, she's on there, it's keyed, plus it's clamped. It ain't going nowhere. Promise you. That'll hold a lot of power on the belt. Maybe. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, well, that pretty much wraps it up. I have to, alright, let's see. Okay. Hey, whoa! Alright, see, this is the one that was on it. This is the one that was on the one that blew up. Yep. See, that rear main, pretty well shot. This rear main was brand new. Beautiful thing, worked great. I used a little more silicone than they did from the factory, I believe. Yep, I think I was a little more liberal with it. But it didn't leak. But anyway, I think I'm gonna take this one and clean it up, because it's the one that come off of that block. Not that that matters. But yeah, I'm gonna get this cleaned up and I'll be back with you when we're putting it on. Clean. Clean. All right, now I gotta get that on there with a little bit of that. And a couple of these. Going up. Probably good enough. And this has a tapered edge, and the tapered edge goes towards the crank, and then it'll give you a tapered edge out here for putting the rear main on. No! Now, I'm not going to drive it on with this hammer, obviously. Oh, gotta be careful anyway. It's softer than I thought. I'm just trying to get it started. So it'll sit on there. That's all I'm trying to do is just get it to sit on there. And now I have to get the tool. And this is the only tool you need to put it on there. And you don't even need this many bolts. Let's see, that hole has to line up there. What size are these? Oh, I forgot. There's all you really need. That way you can drive it on eccentrically. Hold on to that one. You got the dowel pin. That's only going one way. And this is the only tool you'll need to install this. because where this stops driving it is where it sits. The first one of these I ever put on, I overdrove it. I set this ring here too far back because I didn't use this because, well, my brain just wasn't working on that day. And I used a different means to put it on, which was not the right way. Quit your rocking. You may ask, how do I know I'm driving it on even? Well, there's a wear line from the old seal, and I'm just using that as a reference mark. Now, at some point, these will bottom out before it gets fully tight, because you're not taking the thickness of the flex plate into consideration. Bottomed out. Like I said, bottomed out. Now I need to either get some washers or grab the flex plate. I think we're just gonna find some, I have washers right here. Thick ones too. Oh yeah, thick old boys. They fit perfectly. It ain't got much further to go either, just a little bit. Let's see. Is it seated all the way? Might be seated all the way. Come on. Oh, finally. 1 year later. Shoo. You're no fun. And there it is. It is seated all the way. Give that a wipe off. Get what little bit of silicone's off this, and we'll get some of our brake cleaner and clean it up real good. Man, look at all that sticky stuff falling out on the ground. Anyway, the plate is ready. All right. And then without getting silicone on everything, you gotta get in here and give your gasket a little stretch. It will not hurt it to stretch it a little bit. It will just help you. All right, let's see if I can't do this the first try. Especially with the engine swinging around, you know, that makes it easier. Not really. Lord. Don't mess it up, dummy. You only get one shot. Oh, come on. That was so close. Liquid it. Yes, I do realize it'd be easier if the engine wasn't swinging, but this is what I have to work with at the moment. Nope. There it goes. Woo! Only got a little bit of silicone on me. All right, there we go. Get the oil off my hands. And now, let's see. Gotta get the dowels to line up. Did they line right up? Oh, I think they did. Well, hot dog. There, it's on there. Get all the excess silicone off of me. And now, just remember, and I'm trying to do this really quick because this silicone here sets up fast from what I've noticed so far. But yeah, The main goal here is to get all these in before you start tightening any of them. So that way you know that they will all start. And then once you get them all started, you can start tightening them down. And there's not really any specific order in which you have to do these. Just, you know, don't over torque them. Because these are itty bitty little bolts and they'll break super easy. And I'm gonna start right here because it's the centermost bolt. And I assure you that's probably as tight as you want to take those anyway. So, cool. All right, I'm gonna get it back down, get it on the engine stand, so that way we can get the oil pan on it and we can finally flip this thing over and start on the top side doing stuff. Fun. Would you just look at it? Just look at it. And I got it gooped up where it needs to be gooped up, especially back here in the back, because there's such, you know, a drop in like where this is at and where the block's at. So I got it gooped up where it needs to be gooped up. I'm gonna wipe that off right there. Just get rid of that. Boop. But she is ready for the oil pan to go on. And then once you get the oil pan on and tightened up, we'll come back around and wipe off any of the excess, you know. Put a dress on it, make it look good, you know what I mean? Lipstick on the pig. Oh, about messed up. You know, I believe I did that last time too. We got to put our dipstick in there, or dippy sticker. The last time I did put a little bit of silicone on this part here just to help seal it. Some people will yell at you for doing that, but you know, we'll get over it. Ain't much left. This one little tube here, it's pretty well got this engine wrapped up. And I mean, they come with a whole other tube too, a great big old one. So they give you plenty to do the job. They give you plenty to do the job. Boom. Yep, we just run a little bead on there. Let's see, we want it tilted forward. Alright, cool. Get her nut on there. And then we'll just, you know, tighten it down till we absolutely can't tighten it anymore. And we actually have the correct O-ring in it. Like, I don't know if they put the wrong style of O-ring in those and the one that was on here. Like, it was like the wrong material, so like the oil and stuff made it swell. Or if they just put entirely the wrong size, because, well, let me grab it. It's laying right here on the floor somewhere. It was laying here on the floor. I think I kicked it. But anyway, that thing, it was massive. It was 100% the wrong O-ring that they had in all these. We got a silicone one in there now, so it shouldn't care about anything. And my advice is, on these oil pans, always put the corner bolts in first, because sometimes they get a little warped and twisted in the removal process because, you know, they're sealed on so good. And last time I did this, there was some prying involved. Some prying and some crying. All right, cool. All the corner ones are in. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, pig. All right. I guess I'm gonna finish doing a little few things up here. I can do thermostat and I can put all this stuff on. Just stack it all up on there. Cool. I think y'all know what time it is. Oh yeah. We're about to put those on here. It's really finally starting to look like something. There's only 2 steps we gotta do before we can set the heads on. One, we gotta put in our dowels, our little locators in the head. So, well, in the block. So when we put the head on, it's appropriately lined up in its exact place that it's supposed to be. Because if you don't have these dowels in these holes when you put the head on, even with the bolts in, studs, whatever you want to call them, that head's got all kinds of wiggledy diggledy diggledy dockety dickety dickety do room. It's all over the place. So you'll never get your alignment right if you don't have those dowels. And then once you put the dowels in, we'll put the head gasket on. And no, I absolutely am not going to put the studs in it and try and take that 200-pound head, hoist it up here, and wrestle it onto those studs. I ain't even no, If that's how you want to do yours, you go right ahead. It ain't happening here. No. I don't know why some people act like if you're using studs, they have to be in first. And then you'll see people like, they'll leave the studs in, they'll pull the head off over them and fight it off. No, why? Why are you doing that to yourself? It takes like 10 seconds to get the studs out. Why do you even do that to yourself? Just stop, please, just stop. Back to these dowels. As you can see, I've already got them anti-acidums. So that way, if the heads ever do come back off again, get in there. Oh. They won't, well, they might not be seized up on the heads like they were last time. Because last time they were. Well, some of them were seized up in the head. Oh, Mr. Head Gaskets, where are you? Where are you, Mr. Head Gaskets? I can't get in here. Oh, there they are. Oh, be gentle. Be gentle. Oh, there's your Josh manifold gaskets. Nice. Head gaskets are applied. Nice. All right. That head goes over here. Let's start the wrestling match. Well, I should probably tip it up, make sure the bottom of it's clean. Yeah, I probably need to give that a good rag wipe down. Rag, brake cleaner. Nice and clean. They really don't give you enough places to just grab a hold. All right, maybe that'll be better. Oh yeah, yep. All right, and just ever so delicately. Oh yeah. I love it when it does it like that. She just sat right down on her dowels. Didn't even have to really fight with it. All right, now, stay right there till I grab a couple studs. All right, remember, short studs go on the top. So we'll just grab 4 of those. That is nice. I like that. I like that a lot. And lift. This head here is going to rock down on there apparently, but it is going down on there. I think that's the smoothest I've ever put on a set of heads. Normally they fight way more than that to get on there. There it goes. Cool. That is awesome. Yep, they're sitting right where they're supposed to be. I've got all my studs lubed and set where I want them. And the way I do my studs is I take them all the way down and I bottom them out, and then I back them off a half turn. And that's where I leave my studs, and then we start the torquing process. And the reason why I do that is because there's many different schools of theory and thought here. But there's one that's very popular, that anytime you have a fastener bottomed out in a bore, in a hole, and whatever the fastener is in, that the expansion rate of the fastener may be different than the expansion rate of the material that it's in, and it could crack it, this, that, whatever. I mean, you know, there's no hard scientific proof that that's going to happen on this engine if I have the stud bottomed out or whatever, or this or that. And there may be 8 million guys out there that do it every day. Yes, you'll take the impact and send the stud right in there, and then they just start torquing it, and without fail. It's very possible. Not questioning their methods. I don't care how they do it. That's not how I do it. This is how I do it. And I haven't had a problem doing it yet. And, you know, these studs have already been in these heads and using that exact same technique. And anyone you talk to, well, I can't say anyone, but a lot of people you talk to swear that even with studs, even with this, even with that, you build up these 7.3s, you know, unless you get them drilled out and get the bigger studs and this and that and whatever, these things, if you take them over 35 pounds of boost, you'll pop head gaskets left and right and this and that, and you can't keep a head gasket on them. Well, I can tell you, with this exotic brand head studs, torqued at 135, because I take them 10 pounds over, torqued at 135, I know they'll hold 40 pounds, because I did it quite a bit. And there's a few times where it would get up there at like 42 and sit, and I'd ride it out for a minute or so. And well, if y'all were watching the video when we took it apart, the head gaskets are beautiful. They showed no signs of fatigue or starting to fail anywhere. I mean, the heads were still sealed beautifully. So, you know, my technique ain't failed me yet, so I'm gonna keep doing it that way. Y'all don't have to back off your studs whenever you put them in if you don't want to. It's what I do, and I haven't had a problem with it yet. I'll do it on Cummins, I'll do it on these, I'll do it on anything. If I put a stud in anything, in any bore that I put a stud in, period, any hole, I don't put them in there and bottom them out. I put them in there and I back them off a quarter turn. That's, you know, I don't leave them bottomed out. Once I bottom them out, I back them out, you know, a quarter to a half turn. It's just, it's what I do. And like I said, it hasn't failed me yet. And I mean, if you're worried about them moving, you can Loctite them. There's nothing against Loctiting them. You can put some Loctite on there, so once you have the stud where you want it, it'll set up and it'll stay there. So you've got that option too. And that being said, we're going to start the torquing process. She said on 3. Let's get it. Y'all should have seen the look on your faces. Y'all really thought I was about ready to just send it with this. No, that ain't how we're doing it. Stupid. But how we are doing it is with a snap-on, clickety-clackety, a torquey wrench. Now, I'm gonna do it in 4 steps. First one's gonna be 50. Second one's gonna be 90. The third one's gonna be 125. 125 is the recommended torque for these said fasteners. Once I hit 125, if they're still feeling solid just like they did last time, like there ain't no spring, there ain't no sponge to them, we're gonna take her up to 135. And as always, you start at the center, right there, center one, and then you just work yourself into a circular pattern going out. You just do that. And I do every step twice. Like this in here, I'm about ready to do it. I'm gonna do 50 foot-pounds working my way out. I'm gonna torque it down to 50 foot-pounds. Once I get done, I will come back and I will do it again. I'll do the 50 foot-pound step again. And then I'll do the 90 the same way, the 125 and the 135. I'll do them all twice. That's just how I do it. You don't have to do it that way. You know, doing each step once is fine. It just makes me feel good, because usually whenever you do one step and then you come back to the center, you'll get a little bit out of the center again. So it's just my preferred method. You don't have to do it that way, but I like it, and that's how I'm gonna do this one. Enough of all that. I'm gonna get torquing this down. Catch back up with y'all in a minute. Here it is, ladies and gents. Torque down to 135 all the way across the board. And I went through the 135 step twice on both heads. They feel good, they feel solid. I like it. We got all the squish. There's just one thing that we need to do real quick. Because, you know, it ain't got injectors in it. It ain't got glow plugs in it. Shouldn't have no compression. So it should still rotate, in theory. So, yeah. Let's see if it'll rotate. Because if it won't, this is the time. Like, I know it would rotate before we put the heads on. So if it don't rotate now, we got problems. And you know, my piston protrusion was up there at the top end of the spec. And we got all this stud on here getting all this clampage. You know, might not rotate over. Let's see. Oh wow, it sounds like a fan coming out. Shoo, shoo. Oh yeah, we've done went the full distance now. That's awesome. That is awesome, and she's tight. I like it. Cylinders sound good, just the whole deal just sounds good. I am just tickled by it. Makes a fella happy. All right, well, I'm gonna go have me a cold snack and get me a bite to eat, because it's midnight, and I'll catch back up with y'all probably tomorrow sometime, because I'm going to go ahead, whenever I come back in the morning, I'm going to go ahead and throw the injectors in it, and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to do the fuel system. I'm going to finish it. It's going to be H-pop on it, the whole 9 yards. I'm going to get the pedestal back on it. Like, it's going to be ready to go in the truck the next time y'all see it. Because I've already done a fairly decent video for the injectors and the H-pop and the 4-line kit. Like, I've pretty well covered that in previous video in this playlist. So if that's something that y'all want to see, like if you're like new to the channel, just getting here, if that's something that you want to see, it's just a few videos back. I've got one video that covers the injectors and the head stud install. I got another video that covers the H-pop and I think the pedestal install, and then another one that covers like the fuel line kit. So if that's something that you want to see, if it's something that, you know, you got interest in, like I said, just scroll on back in the playlist. I've got a video that covers it. But this one, when I come in tomorrow, I'm probably just going to hit it hard and just get it done. That way, you know, we can get it in the truck and, you know, start putting some miles on it. Would you just look at it? I mean, just look at it. Just take it in. It's been a fun build, but man, am I glad it's over. I've had some long days out here getting this one wrapped up. And like this engine, this video is wrapped up. Whew, I'm whooped. It's late. I'm ready to go get me a cold snack and take a nap. Siesta style, feet kicked up. Woofda. I'd like to thank y'all for coming and checking out this build. Leave a like and a comment down below. If you think I've earned it, hit that subscribe button. Thank y'all, and we'll see you on the next one, where this will be going back in the chassis. Y'all have a good one.